This is a place where I like to share the positives and the negative sides of a relationship. I think it's really important to have a balanced perspective, not just hyper-focusing on all the positive things that you want to aim for, but also looking out for some of those negative signs that will lead you to a toxic relationship. And it's what I like to call the sweet spot. Hi everybody, I'm Dr. Taylor Burrowes and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today's topic is about the 5 tips for creating and sustaining ideal relationships. What actually works? What are my 5 best recommendations for you to maintain the health of your relationship? We're going to dig into those today, so stick around. Jumping right in, let's start with number 1. In healthy ideal relationships, you prioritize your relationship or your marriage above all others. This is really important. You can't listen to your mother over your wife. You can't listen to your father over your husband. You can't cater to your friends over your partner. And you can't cater to your children. You can't let them rule the household. You and your partner or your spouse are the number 1 and 2 people in your life. This partnership is the crux of the decision-making process for your life. That also includes you coming first to yourself. But let's say you have children, you have parents, you have a close-knit family, you and your spouse or your partner are at the very top of that pyramid of importance. So you understand that the children are obviously the fruits of your labor, figuratively and literally. You take care of their needs, but you don't cater to their needs. They're not running the show. You are running the show as husband and wife, man and woman, at the top of that relationship pyramid. And what mom thinks or what dad thinks is secondary. Once you mature out of childhood, they were your primary caregivers then in your primary relationship. But once you become an adult and you create your own household, you have to defer to your new system with your partner. But without your relationship at the top of that dynamic, then everything else is going to fall apart. So your relationship with your mother and your father and your sister and your brother and your children are all important, but you have to function as a team and a household first and foremost. So a couple who prioritizes their relationship is definitely going to consider their partner's needs and their preferences as they go about navigating the world. You're going to consider what's best for the relationship when you're making decisions and how that's going to affect your partner at times, like things that you would decide for yourself have to also include how they affect your partner. So it's really important to see yourself as a team, as a dyad, and to consider your relationship with each other as the very, very top relationship in your life, other than the one with yourself, of course. Tip number 2, healthy ideal relationships are solution focused. This is a beautiful thing. This is about each person being accountable for themselves. This is about each person taking responsibility, their responsibility for the relationship and what it needs. But ultimately, you're going to see yourself as teammates and as allies against whatever stressors or problems come up in life. Even if it's something that's specific to one or the other of you, you're going to see every single challenge as an external problem or stressor that the two of you work together to overcome. So this is like the antidote for resentment building up and defensiveness surfacing in a relationship. So it's so important to have this mindset as an individual, but then as a couple as well. So definitely seek this green flag in a partner. That solution-focused mindset is definitely important. Tip number 3 is healthy, ideal relationships have emotional intimacy. Very strong emotional intimacy, which means that they're good listeners, they're active listeners, they're empathic listeners, they're giving their full undivided attention when each other speaks to each other for the most part, and you're able to listen to understand and clarify actively what each other is experiencing. This level of empathic connection is so important. So without this level of emotional connection and emotional intimacy, you're really not going to have a lot of other types of sexual intimacy either. And don't be fooled, this is not just a female need. Men need this too. Men need to feel accepted. They need to know that they can fail or make a mistake and still be loved Obviously, they're going to want to bring their best to the table and make you proud, but we all just want to be accepted and loved despite our flaws. So it goes both ways, but definitely in a healthy relationship, you're going to see very, very high levels of emotional intimacy and empathic connection. Number 4, healthy, ideal couples have high levels of trust and gratitude. They express kindness to each other. You'll actually hear them saying thank you a lot because they don't take the little things for granted. They actually express their appreciation for each other. This is like positivity generally, right? But it's based on that foundation of trust. They know each other's going to act in good faith. You assume the best about each other's character, and you give them reasonable doubt. So you don't question their motives, or like if something bad happens, you don't jump to conclusions. You're not going to assume the worst, and you're not going to question things beyond face value. You've established that trust early on. You've proven that trust, built it over time. It's a very solid foundation, but it's that gratitude taking, it's perspective taking, and feeling humbled by all of the benefits and blessings of having your partner in your life with you. But this piece about gratitude is just so important. It's an easy measure of a healthy relationship. If you hear yourselves, or if you're observing another couple, if you hear them quite often saying thank you to each other and then displaying kindnesses or having gestures of kindness to each other, that just means that they're a fundamentally solid, positive, enthusiastic couple. They have like patience and kindness, gratitude, trust at their core. Last one already, number 5. Can't believe we're already at number 5. Gosh, healthy, ideal couples have healthy amounts of affection and lust, playfulness, teasing, levity, and humor, where you can be spontaneous, where you get spunky. All of that energy is so important. Not just sexual desire and lust and affection, although that too, this is important. It is that non-sexual affection as well. This is the sexual polarity piece of a healthy, ideal relationship. You didn't think I was going to leave it out, right? This is the one where a lot of people get this wrong. They're too soft in their relationships. A lot of the things that I've talked about before are like from the comfort end of the spectrum, but we need to make sure, because we're talking about healthy, ideal relationships, that we're not missing that desire piece. So maybe it's not necessarily the frequency of sexual intercourse or sexual activity, but maybe it's just that lustful playfulness, that teasing, and that foreplay. You're going to have the physical affection that may be non-sexual, but you're also going to have this little bit of that friction, that tension, that spark that's going to be creating fantasy and excitement in your life. The other tips are very important, but they're on the comfort end of the spectrum. So without this element, it won't fit together well. Because remember, my formula for an ideal relationship is logic plus desire plus love equals an ideal relationship. So this is where that desire piece comes in, and it is really important. So you don't have to have like the highest frequency of sex. You don't have to have the hottest sex out there, but you need to make sure that you nurture this sexual spark and this nice contrasting energy between the two of you in order to make it last a lifetime and fulfill you to your wildest dreams. Thanks for watching. It's been really fun going over these 5 tips for you today. I enjoyed talking about these positive, optimistic tips for ideal relationships. It's definitely something that I'm enthusiastic about. I'm in my ideal relationship and it makes me glow from the inside out, and that's all I want for you as well. I hope you enjoyed watching, and if you did, give the video a thumbs up, and I hope you were taking notes. If you have any questions, put them below. In fact, why don't you put your favorite one down in the comment below? You didn't think I was going to let you get away without a call to action, did you? Definitely share it with friends. And if you haven't already, make sure and hit that subscribe button so you will get a new video every week. I'm Dr. Burrowes, and I help healthy, happy, successful, high-value men and women vet and connect. Ciao!